Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are continuing our Overland trailer build. We just finished episode 3, which was axle and suspension, and now we are going to tackle some miscellaneous stuff that we need to do before we paint all this, because we want to get this frame painted before we put the rest of the stuff on, like the walls and body kit and lights and everything. That way we don't have to worry about rust. So in today's episode, we are going to mount fenders. We're going to do our trailer jack, because now that we have the wheels and tires on, we need some way to support the front. This puny little jack stand just ain't cutting it. Starting off, we're going to use this Hallmaster weld-on bracket trailer jack. It's a bracket weld, so we have this bracket here that's going to go somewhere along this frame. We're just going to take this. This is fully extended. We can see right here we have plenty of room on this piece, on this tongue support. I honestly think right there would probably be pretty good. With our bracket welded on, yeah, it's a little warm, but it's fine. We're gonna put now the tongue on, and it came with this snap ring, which I don't have snap ring pliers, so I have needle nose pliers. But we're gonna see if I can get this back on without breaking anything or hurting myself. So our trailer jack is on. It works fine. I say just fine. There's quite a bit of slop in it. Like, look at all this movement here. This is all just from the trailer jack wobbling around. So we're going to treat it like your mom's new husband, and we're just going to live with it until we can afford something better. On to our next issue. These fenders. They're pretty sweet. These fenders are cool. They're square. They're pretty strong. Like, I could stand on this and be content once I weld it up. But they're short. They're not wide enough, which I'm using pretty large trailer tires, I'll be honest. So I have to extend these. I think what I'm going to do first is get my supports welded up. These are going to be 11 inches long. They're going to come out to right about here, actually. So this comes and leaves a good enough little buffer here, so there's some sidewall poking out still. We're going to cut these fenders, hopefully right here, and see if we can just bend it out just a bit to reach a bit farther. We definitely need fenders. Alright, I've been brainstorming, running back and forth a bunch, because trying to get these even has caused me quite a bit of grief. Our fender supports, we have it measured out to be even on the tire, because if it's not, it's going to ruin everything. I mean, nobody's going to enjoy looking at that. So for your research purposes, fender number 1, 16 inches from the rear of the trailer. 16 inches. Fender, or front fender, is 50 inches and 1/8, and all these are from the closest edge. So I'm going to get these grinded up and cleaned up. Then we're going to tack them in place. Hey!
Nope.
Perfect. So now with our fender supports tacked in place, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So once again, this one, closest edge here to rear of trailer is 16, and this one is 50 inches and 1/8. So we're going to go do the same thing on the other side real quick. Guess I should point at it. And then we're going to manhandle our fenders and make them give in to our bidding of somehow fitting. So just like that, all our fender supports are on. It's always so much more work than you expect it to be because it's just 4 little things. How long can it take? And then next is our fenders, which we're going to take and enforce our wheel on to fit bracket to bracket, or fender support to fender support, whatever you want to call it. But overall, I think these look pretty good. We have to weld them up more once we get the tires off because they're kind of ugly, not going to lie. Pretty ugly welds right now because they're just tacked. But once we get those done, we'll remove the tires so they're safe, weld it all up where I can jump on those and it'll move the entire frame. Because, like I said, I think I'd be able to stand on those fenders if need be, but I definitely want to be able to stand on these. Burning the midnight oil here. But I wanted to show y'all what I've done so far and catch you up and then walk you through. This is our fender. As you can tell, it doesn't reach our fender supports because, well, it's too short. Over there, that one does. And I want to show you how I did it real quick. So all I've done is cut, and these welds are ugly. Don't look at this right now. This is just a test fit. I've sliced this open with my grinder and then just flexed this piece out on each side. And that got it to where I needed to be. And then I re-welded this up and, you know, it's sturdy again. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here and film it, show you how to do it. And then we are going to pop the tires off, weld our fender supports fully.
For this part, there probably is a more even way to do it, but I don't know what it is. So I just took my hands, pushed the metal out, and then test fit it. Needed to go a bit more, flipped it over, pushed it out a bit more. Needed to be more even, pull one side out, tuck the other one in. You get it. You're just manhandling it.
And just like that, our fender fits. So like I said, we just cut it, and then we enforce our wheel on it, just bend it out. It's 16 gauge, so it's not much work at all. But as you can see, we're about halfway onto here, and just right about halfway onto here. We get a good amount of coverage, just a little bit of wheel sticking out, of tire sticking out. If you're looking at it straight on, yeah, I'm completely fine with that. That way, if I ever rub up on anything, we're hitting tire and not fender, because this will bend, that will not. So we just have to get this metal grinded up. We have to weld this part, so we're going to take it off this place and weld it back up. And then we have to finish welding our brackets here. We got to go top, left, right, and then I'm not going to worry about the bottom because it would be too difficult to weld upside down. But we just have to finish welding so they're strong, because I want to be able to stand on these, stand on this, if it will support me. Not sure. If jury's out on that one, we'll get to it. Let's get these holes patched up real quick, these cuts. I'll show you how I did it. It's pretty simple. Let's get to it. Now, since every day is a day to learn something new, I want you to see what I did here and tell me if you can tell what the better idea was. On this side, we welded from the top down. I don't know if you can see, but that's not too bad. It's not too bad. We welded from the bottom up. It is much worse. When you do this yourself, if you do this, of course, go from the top down and use gravity. It makes more sense. We gotta clean our fenders up, get them ready to weld, and then we're gonna tack this in place. Let's get to it. Both fenders tack welded in place. We're gonna weld this outside and top end on both of these fender supports. Then we have to remove the tire and weld the inside. And then we're gonna move on to our ball coupler because we need to get those holes drilled before we paint. I got the fenders welded on. I'm pretty content with this. I'll weld more if I need it, but I just did the edges. I think it's going to be fine. So we did both sides, both fenders, all 4 corners of the fender. Welded the left top and right of our fender supports. Here's this other side. Every now and then I learn how to weld, or remember how to weld, and I get cleaner welds. But inside supports are done. Don't judge me. I'm not a professional. Now we're on to our ball coupler. Now this is a Kurt ball coupler, which they put this label on that does not come off. So I'm going to throw this in a sink and scrub a dub after this. But we're going to just template this, and we're going to use bolts to mount it, because we can do bolts on 3 sides versus welding just on, you know, technically 2. So we put this on here. You slide it back all the way, and then you just want to push it up just maybe ½ an inch, just like that, because this underneath, this right here, this piece moves. So I can show you nicely. See, just like that. So you want to make sure these pieces have enough room to freely move, so you're not locking yourself in. So just put it back on here, pull it back tight, about, you know, ½ an inch. We have the center punch. We're going to take it, because I'm going to get the top drilled and the side drilled. All our holes are drilled. This goes through. Just like that. Easy peasy. Of course, we're not tightening this down because we still have to paint all this, because this will rust out underneath. There's our ball coupler.
And then with our ball coupler in place, we can mount our chains. These are from Walmart. They're like 20 bucks. So I just cut them in half and then welded them on each side. They come with the S-hook already. So we just need to weld these chains inside out all around that one link, just so we got a secure mount.
One more thing left to do for this episode, and that is we have to drill our holes for the lights, because my tail lights are going to be mounted on this bar here. This is our brake light and turn signal. I used these before on my last trailer, and I absolutely love them because they have a sequential turn light, which I'll put on screen right now for you to see. It's just, I love it so much, so I'm reusing these. The way these work, though, is they have these studs that stick out that the nut goes on. So that means I'm going to have to drill the holes in the right spots that goes through, and centered, of course, because this will fit within our 2 inches here, and I don't want to add any more, you know, anything out here for them. So we're going to tuck them in here. So we're going to have to measure where to put these. Thankfully they're kind of on the outside edge, so it shouldn't be difficult, but we need access on the back side to stick a socket in to tighten these down, and we need to drill a hole for our wiring. Thankfully they put it dead center, so it's not anywhere awkward, but we got to get this measured out on both sides equally, get the holes mocked up, because we have to paint everything before we mount these. We're going to keep this pretty simple. We're going to measure our studs just like this, and they are 8 3/8 inch apart, so 8 inches and 3/8 of an inch. And then we just have to decide, mock it up here where we want it, and we need access to the back side because we have to drill holes to mount for our socket to fit to put this stud on. So, you know, anywhere where we can access it is going to be good. 3 5/16. So let's go ahead and find our center point up and down. That's why we use the speed square. So we can use our center punch. Just like that. I have a step bit, but I start off with a 1/8 inch because this is not sharp. So now you can take this one, we can measure. I'm just going to scratch, and that tells me where this one needs to be. Okay, that's that. Holes line up. All right, now we need to find our center point. Is 4 3/16. Let's give it a test fit. We'll figure out wiring in the future episode because we're gonna have to do a lot because these lights do require special wiring, but I think it's worth it. All right, let me pop these off just to give it a pure fit. Okay, that's it. That looks pretty good. Now this side we just have to mark our holes to drill for access with our socket. So it's going to be the same exact process of measuring and marking. So that's how it looks. Now these nuts obviously have to go in on the inside of this. So we're not going to even test fit it now because if I drop it, it's going to ruin my day. So we're going to leave this until we fully wire it because our holes are done. But yeah, don't drop them in here because I don't know how I get them out. Maybe magnets would work, but yeah. Let's do the other side. And just like that, holes drilled on each side for our lights. We are done and ready to do the next step. Our holes for our lights are drilled. They're done and dusted. This place is a mess. We have to clean up because your mom's coming over. We're painting next episode, and I hate painting, but I hate rust even more, so I have to pick my battles. So next episode, we are going to sand, dust, clean, grind, get these wells to look better, and then paint them because we need to get ready for the walls. I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to stay in the loop. Like the video if you liked it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.